we're back, and we're here for vlog number 6 or 7. I haven't done a vlog in a while, which is funny because I've actually shot a lot of vlogs, but I haven't actually edited or put them together. As I cool off, just cooling off the water here. This time, I have a story. This is a story of trying to source Huang Shan Mao Feng. This is the hardest part. I was talking with some friends, in the Tunxi area, and they were talking about Mao Feng, and the village of Da Gu Yun came up, and apparently they have good Mao Feng, and I was like, okay, I'm going, and I hit my friend up last night, being like, hey, do you want to come with me? She's a tea drinker, she speaks Chinese. I only fit one of those criteria. And she was like, I don't know, it's very inconvenient, it's very far away, it's hard to get to. And I was like, great, I'll let you know how it is. And she was really like, what? Because that's what I've learned through these travels, is, a lot of the times people are going to tell you that it's very inconvenient. It's never really that bad. It's never that bad. It's never like... It might be a little tricky at times, but it's never worth... Never don't do something because it's inconvenient. Today, I first had to take an hour bus to Shishien, which is a neighboring town. And then from Shishien, I took a 2-hour bus up to Da Gu Yun. And Da Gu Yun, check my tea here. So if you see, I'm brewing in 2 open containers. And what you're looking for in the first steep, the first steep is ready when the leaves just look wet. They look wet, they lost their dry shape. Now, the trick to the sign of a good tea pourer is someone who can brew cleanly. And what that means is that you should be able, a good tea pourer can brew, I lost one there, okay, can brew without the leaves getting into the second pitcher. As you see, except for that 1 or 2 leaves, they're all staying, even though the water's coming out, the leaves themselves are staying. And the trick to that is, I'm getting tired. The trick to that is a steady flow of liquid. More or less, I'm not doing a great job here, maybe because I'm talking and it makes it harder. Is an even flow of liquid. When you start like going pour faster, you start like getting jittery, then it's gonna go. But if you keep in constant speed, the leaves will stay. Cup am I using? I use this cup. And so then I took the second bus from Shishien to Da Gu Yun. And the bus up that mountain was one of the scariest bus rides I have been on yet. We almost died. And I don't use that too lightly, because here in China, you almost die quite often when it comes to public buses. But there was 2 moments. There was one moment we're going up there, and we're going up this, winding, small road. There's a road, paved road, winding, small paved road, up the side of the mountain. You look over, and the valley just drops below you, and the bus gets stuck on some trees. There was just some pine trees right next to the road. The bus got stuck. The bus driver actually had to get out of the bus and climb on top of the bus and shake the branch off. The bus is kind of rocking a little bit as he does. So that was the funny part. So he eventually gets it off with the help of, I guess, a nearby villager or somebody maybe in the car behind him. Um, and he gets back in the bus and he starts driving. And these winding roads where you can't see around the next turn. And so usually they'll honk their horn to let you know they're coming. And so he's making this turn, and just as he gets to the peak of the turn, there's another bus coming. And both buses had to brake suddenly to prevent a head-on collision. A head-on collision that would have sent at least one of us flying down the side of the mountain. And then they just kind of kept driving like nothing happened. So, like, it wasn't even like someone got mad. It was like, ah! They were like, okay. And everyone in the back was just like, God damn it. It's a really nice village. It's a small... It's like a village, you know? You know, sometimes you get villages, but they're a little bigger, they're a little nicer. They have a restaurant. This village, I did not see a restaurant. It was just houses and then some convenience stores. So it was like a village. It's a mountain village. I tried one guy's tea, and it wasn't... The tea he gave me, he was selling at a low price. Which at first I was like, oh my god, great deal. But then I tasted it, it didn't really have much flavor. And I was like, oh, it's a low price because it's not really that good. So I kept walking, kind of walked out of the village, and I started walking into the mountains a bit. Let me say that first. So I started walking into the mountains a bit. And so I'm walking in the mountains, and I come across this field. And it is a great field. And I'm talking, it's like, there's trees, and flowers, and rocks, and there's like single tea trees amongst the rocks. A great field. And there's a guy picking. And so I'm like, I'm going to ask if I can buy his tea. Approached him and I, like, hi, do you sell this tea? And he kind of smiles. He goes, yeah. I'm like, you make tea? And then, because I don't think he quite understood me. My Chinese is not good. And the things he said, I didn't quite understand. I tried to communicate that I was interested. If he made tea, I was interested in buying the tea from the supply. But what I could understand at least, I'm not sure if he made tea. It seemed as if he was picking tea for somebody else. And so and at this point, I was afraid the bus was going to leave. So I was like, okay, I had to leave. I was like, oh, goodbye. So I go down to the village. And I saw it, because as I was going back into the village, people were bringing their tea leaves to these shops, and they call them tea bosses. To these tea bosses, and the tea boss will look at the leaves, weigh it, examine it, and then buy the fresh leaf. And so this seemed more like a village where people didn't make their own tea as much as they picked tea for somebody else to make. They picked fresh tea from their tea field, but sold it to somebody else to make, which I've seen before. It's a common practice in all over China, and so that would make sense of why this guy said he didn't make his own tea. So I tried talking to one of the tea bosses, but once again there was like this Chinese. The Chinese didn't quite, like, I would catch a word or two, but I couldn't understand. So it's like, okay. And so I went back to the bus just to be told that the last bus that there was no more buses back to Shixian. And I ended up staying the night. In this, I don't know what it was. It was like a guest house, basically. It was this woman had a room with these 2 beds and a chest. And it was like this super... It felt like somewhere between a prison cell and like what a Buddhist monk would stay in. Because it was just so simple. There was like a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. It was, it wasn't bad, but it was funny just how simple this was. But she did cook me a nice dinner. And I came back this morning, unfortunately with no tea. So this is, I guess, is the point of this whole video, is that this is an example of going somewhere for no tea. This has been a week of just coming back empty-handed, basically. Which, on the one hand, kind of sucks. It does kind of suck to not find what you're looking for, but it's a good skill to have. It's important. It's important to be able to come back from a T-Region empty-handed, because that means you said no to somebody. You said no to quality, to bad quality. And I know it's hard. And I know I've been to T-Regions, and I've bought tea just for the sake of like, well, I'm here and I wanted to come here for a tea. I guess this is tea. And I get the feeling, and I'm hoping tea companies don't do that. I know a few tea companies that I know don't do that. That they've been like, yeah, we went and couldn't find anything. But I'm afraid, especially for when it's people's first time to China and all that, it's hard. It's hard to go to a tea region and to come back empty-handed. Because you wanna feel like you found something. You wanna like think your trip was worth it. That being said, though, I'm gonna go back. Because what I did notice, because I also didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't get to explore the whole village. I kind of kept to the main street. I'm sure if I left the main street and went exploring a little bit more with someone who knows Chinese, I'll be able to find a household. If I can find a household who makes tea, that would make it a lot better. So that's my goal. Maybe in the next week or two. Probably 1 week, if not 2 weeks. So I'll let you guys know how that goes.